Please note. This is what Ukrainian troops are using as electric unicycles on the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield. Exist. These vehicles are primarily used for medical relief and individual soldier operations at the front lines. The vehicle is equipped with professional off-road equipment. The tires can deliver a peak power of up to 8,000 horsepower, providing strong explosive power and long battery life. The longest flight distance is 80 kilometers. Can it satisfy one? Combat and rescue needs within a defined range. When a soldier is wounded and calls for medical support, the medic can. They rush to the scene on an electric unicycle. Able to be in various wild. The injured can move freely in the external environment to provide timely bandaging and hemostasis as initial treatment. In addition, because electric unicycles have a certain speed endurance and mobile soldiers can also carry guns and drive. Electric unicycles perform tasks in narrow terrain or where play a role in covert operations scenarios. Secondly, it operates with low noise, making it less likely to be detected by the enemy, thus providing good concealment. Furthermore, the elimination of fuel reduces logistical pressure. However, the posture required when driving a unicycle. Higher risk of being spotted and killed by the enemy. A war operating system is emerging, which is a military AI system. The Russian military faces a completely new challenge, the ability to simultaneously command thousands of drones. The challenges have become increasingly apparent as the Russo-Ukrainian war enters its fifth year, with battlefield competition no longer being limited to. The contest between artillery, missiles, and manpower has gradually evolved into a competition of numbers. According to calculations. Law and artificial intelligence. Recent media reports have revealed that the Ukrainian military is using equipment/supplies from the US to address the conflict. Palantir, a US technology company, participated in the development of the AI-powered combat platform, COM system. Unify this system. Able enough to integrate massive amounts of data in real time. Field data, and assisting in the planning and command of large-scale drone operations, are referred to by outsiders as the future. The prototype of the war operating system. The core ability of calmness is not to directly control a particular drone, but to control the drone from same channel, information hub, forming a unified battlefield picture, satellite reconnaissance and early warning aircraft. Data from electronic reconnaissance platforms, drone reconnaissance, and human intelligence is being continuously input. The system is manually intelligent. After analysis, a dynamic update is generated on the command screen. New battlefield situation map showing the locations of Russian air defense missile sites and radar. Electronic warfare equipment deployment and key rear targets can be achieved. Quickly identified and labeled in the acquisition. After obtaining complete battlefield information, the system will automatically plan the drone flight path using artificial intelligence calculations. The method can calculate tens of thousands of flight paths simultaneously. Searching for Russian troops. Vulnerable points in the air defense network should be avoided as much as possible to prevent radar detection and the increased interception zone improves the success rate of penetration, which means that in the past, it was necessary to have a large tasks that staff officers complete in hours or even days, such as now it may be in a few minutes. Completed internally. Even more noteworthy is that the system can also optimize drone formation. The plan was implemented in a large-scale long-range strike operation. Not all drones in China undertake attack missions, some drones are responsible for reconnaissance. Some were used as electronic decoys. Attracting anti-aircraft fire also has one. Some of the attack platform AIs are actually responsible for carrying out the strike missions and can determine the value of the target. The system automatically calculates the optimal configuration based on air defense density and mission requirements, thereby improving overall combat efficiency. For Russia, the biggest problem may not be the drones themselves, but rather The command system behind it is a traditional military. Command structures often rely on a few large command centers, which, if destroyed by missiles, will be vulnerable to attack. The entire system may fall into paralyzed yet calm, adopting a distributed and decentralized approach. Even if the architecture, data, and computing power are distributed across multiple nodes. Even if one command post is attacked, other nodes can still continue to operate. Maintaining the operational capability of the entire system makes it difficult for the Russian military to. The decapitation operation completely destroyed the Ukrainian army's drone command network and. Meanwhile, Ukraine is also collaborating with Palantir to build the Brave data center. Visual projects utilize data. Millions of images and videos from real battlefields for training people. The AI model continuously improves target recognition and action planning based on a large amount of real-world frontline data. Its ability to act and support decision-making gives it the characteristic of continuous evolution. The system is able to processing thousands of simultaneously, target flight path and mission planning, and assisting in the command of large-scale drone swarm operations. The final attack decision is still made by the human commander. However, this trend is already very clear. The head of Ukraine's National Defense Artificial Intelligence Center, SLOC, recently stated that future warfare. It could escalate into a war between operating systems. Who can fix it faster? Combined data. Whoever makes decisions faster and mobilizes unmanned platforms more efficiently is likely to gain the upper hand on the battlefield. In a sense, the Russia-Ukraine battlefield is becoming a global issue. A testing ground for the militarization of artificial intelligence, drone and satellite reconnaissance. Real-time data chains and artificial intelligence decision-making systems are deeply integrating to determine future warfare. The outcome may no longer be determined by just tanks and missiles. It's not about quantity, but who owns more. Advanced Warfare Brain, Ukraine deploys robots for the first time to capture Russian positions, unmanned support. The joint operations have rewritten the rules of the battlefield, ushering in a revolutionary change in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian officials confirmed the head of the Ukrainian army. The entire operation relied on ground robots combined with drone formations to capture Russian troops. The entire battle of the position resulted in 0 casualties. Infantry participation resulted in 0 casualties. This special battle marked the beginning of modern land warfare. The formally unmanned installation. Prior to this, the Ukrainian military's various unmanned devices were only used for logistical support. The main task of assisting in the transportation of supplies and the transfer of the wounded is to assist the platoon, Rebra and other missions never as the main force participating in the frontal assault. This fully unmanned battle operation signifies that military robots have completely moved beyond being merely auxiliary tools. Its formal designation as a frontline main combat force and the operational form of future warfare have become a reality. The main equipment used in this operation was Ukrainian. The Joy TW-12.7 tracked unmanned aerial vehicle developed by a local Ukrainian technology company. Human combat system. The robot. Equipped with a 12.7mm Browning machine gun, effective range up to 1 kilometer, and night vision capability. The module can operate around the clock. Conduct combat missions. The equipment is primarily controlled remotely and supports preset tactical programs. Capable of independently completing tasks such as fire suppression and positional defense, relying on domestic military industry for rapid development. Iterative advantage. This pack. The equipment can be optimized and upgraded in a timely manner based on battlefield performance. Adapting to the complex combat situation on the front lines, unmanned coordinated tactics have already been implemented in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In 2025, the Ukrainian army deployed armed robots in the Kharkiv war zone for testing. In December of the same year, the robot conducted joint operations with FPV drones. Nighttime interception of Russian raids on the Konstantinovka battlefield. The successful destruction of Russian armored vehicles fully demonstrates the combat reliability of unmanned equipment. The air-ground unmanned collaborative system has traditional operation. Its unparalleled advantage completely eliminated the risk of soldiers dying in direct combat. Meanwhile, domestically produced robots are inexpensive and account for losses. With a cost far lower than heavy armored equipment, it can achieve battlefield dominance at a very low cost. The cost-effectiveness of defense has been greatly improved, and combat robots still have significant advantages at this stage. Its obvious limitations include the inability to achieve fully autonomous combat, reliance on manual control throughout the entire process, and susceptibility to terrain. Shaped electrons. Interference. But with mass production scale expansion and accumulation of combat data for unmanned equipment, the ability to coordinate and resist interference will inevitably continue to iterate and upgrade. We should be wary of unmanned killing weapons. the severe legal and ethical crisis brought about by large-scale application. Current international law does not. Effective legal constraints on intelligence. The deployment and use of weapons are subject to vague and indiscriminate delineation of operational responsibilities. The risks of attacks and other disruptions were prominent in the early years of the Libyan battlefield. There have been cases of unmanned autonomous weapons hunting down soldiers. Ukraine's robotic seizure operation is a modern warfare tactic. The important turning point of artificial smart weapons are no longer science fiction, they have become the mainstay of actual combat against fast-moving enemies. The rapidly developing unmanned combat technology requires the establishment and strict adherence of comprehensive international regulatory rules. Human beings have absolute control over weapons. It has become an urgent and important issue for the world.